Hey y'all, it's Kim again. So it says Biden is irresponsible and vindictive. Louisiana plans to sue over oil drilling ban. And people are saying this presidency with Biden cannot end fast enough. Let's see what this has to say. This is Mornings with Maria uh, on Fox Business.
Mac, President Biden announcing a last minute ban on new offshore gas and oil drilling across 625 million acres of U.S. coastal territory. This happening just 2 weeks before President elect Trump takes office. Biden invoking the 1953 Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, which means Trump will need congressional authority to reverse this move. Trump blasted the move yesterday. Watch.
It's ridiculous. I'll unban it immediately. I will unban it. I have the right to unban it immediately. What's he doing? Why is he doing it? He doesn't even know what 625 million acres would look like. And we can't let that happen to our country. It's really our greatest economic asset. And we're not going to let that happen to our country.
Joining me now is Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill. AG, thanks very much for being here this morning. You've been threatening a federal lawsuit over this drilling ban. You wrote this on X. After 4 years of incompetence and bureaucratic reign by D.C. over the American people, Joe Biden's parting gift is to attack America's energy independence. This is a direct threat to our national security and the hardworking men and women of the country. So, AG, where are you on this lawsuit?
And this is just another thing to tack on to his failing administration, the border, inflation, now this ban, the pardons, giving weirdos like Hillary Clinton and George Soros this Medal of Freedom or whatever, Liz Cheney, all these other people. Ugh. Like I said, this cannot end fast enough.
Well, we're drafting the lawsuit as we speak, and we expect to file it as soon as possible. You know, it's just another strike at America's energy independence, and it's really irresponsible, and I think it's even vindictive.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think will happen? I mean, you're going to file a lawsuit against who? The Biden administration?
Well, we'll sue the Biden administration, and then that will convert to the Trump administration as the defendant as soon as there's a change in administrations. But, you know, I'm confident that President Trump is going to work to reverse this. And, you know, but we can't stop. We can't wait for that to happen. We have to sue and try to block this action now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like, you know, Trump just said that I'll
what doesn't make sense is I guess it's just what it is. And if the man is that far gone and they've figured that out, then why are they allowing him to still make these kinds of decisions? I guess he can make them up until the 20th. But I mean, he's obviously out of his mind. I mean, he's making some really dumb choices that's only going to hurt America, and then just his legacy is going to be even worse. I mean, but I guess he already figures out that, you know, his legacy's done. The Democrats will say one thing, but everybody else that's got some sense, you know, independents, Republicans, conservatives, whoever, they know the truth. His legacy's in the toilet. But yeah, anyway, that's a whole nother thing as far as, whatever.
Oh, unban it, but it's not going to be that easy, is it?
It's not that easy. We've been through this before with the Obama administration, and we've been through it with acreage up in Alaska. And we know that there will be environmental groups that are going to try and intervene in these lawsuits and block the reversal of this policy. So we just have to prepare for the fight.
Yeah. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, meanwhile, visited New Orleans yesterday to honor the victims of the New Year's Day terrorist attack, mourning 14 people killed on Bourbon Street last week. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is now pushing Biden to issue a disaster declaration. Meanwhile, consulting firm Interfor International filed a report back in 2019 finding, quote, politics and bickering hindered security in New Orleans, French Quarter. They strongly recommended bollard mobilization on Bourbon Street to be fixed immediately, AJ. You're ordering the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation to open a full review of security plans from New Year's Eve and
And let's see, let's find where Joe Biden made comments about hold on, about, I know I have it in my New Orleans. Let's see, after he made some comments, they said it was tone deaf. Let's see, after New Orleans terror attack. Yeah, we don't care about that. I saw it in here somewhere. He's so disgusting. Because I think he turned it into talking about Trump. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm trying to find it in my watch later because I think I kept it in there. But yes, he is so horrible. That's thank goodness. Sorry, I have a lot of stuff in here. Okay, yeah. The TV host slams Joe Biden over tone deaf comments.
In times of crisis, we need strong leadership. And until January 20, the United States is stuck with sleepy, same old Joe Biden. Now, America is still reeling from an ISIS-inspired terror attack, and the leader of the free world seemed more eager to wrap up a press conference on the incident so he could watch the football.
And we're seeing that today. The Sugar Bowl is back on. Kickoff is going to take off very shortly. If I don't get this damn thing done, we're going to be in real trouble.
Joining me now is filmmaker Army Horowitz. Army, thank you so much for your time. I personally thought this was not the right tone at all. In fact, I find it baffling when you've got families planning funerals and the leader of the free world is more interested in football. How do you make sense of that?
Yeah, look, I mean, as you know,
I had this saved, and I don't know how many days ago this was, but I hadn't even heard these comments until just now. I had him saved later, and I hadn't watched it because I watched so many other videos. But I mean, what? How totally stupid is this man? People were killed, and he's making comments about watching football. Yeah, dumb.
I call as I see it, right? And frankly, I'm not sure it's a fair criticism. Let's be honest. I don't think it's fair to say he cares more about football than what's happening. I think his point was, I read his comments, and I have been as critical of Joe Biden as anybody else. And he was simply saying, look, he wants the football game to happen. He's glad it happened. He wants us to be normalized in terms of the way we are living our lives. You know, the whole adage, not let the terrorists win. I think it's true here. I don't think he was making a comment to say, hey, football.
We won't let the terrorists win. I mean, they're coming over here in droves across the border that's been open for the last 4 years. What is he talking about? All the gotaways. I mean, if y'all watch anything with Sarah Adams recently, she says that there's like at least 1,500 people here from like Al Qaeda or Taliban, whatever. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the terrorists are going to win if we don't get this guy out of office and shut that damn border down and get these people out of here. Because there's people, they say, plotting against us. But anyway. Oh boy, I'm just so ready for this presidency to be done with. But
football is more important, although I'm a huge football fan, so I do love football. But yeah, I don't think it's fair to say he thought it was more important. I just didn't see this particular comment as inappropriate or overstepping. I could be crazy, but I didn't read it as a significant problem.
Well, I disagree. I think the timing and his wording in particular was inappropriate. That sort of the timing right now is not right, and people are looking to leaders during times of crisis. And I think that those comments were wrong and tone deaf. But look, speaking of the terror attack, prior to the incident, Joe Biden and his administration repeatedly stressed that the greatest threat facing the country was white supremacy. Fox News reports he said, according to the intelligence community, terrorism from white supremacy is the most lethal threat to the homeland today, not ISIS, not Al-Qaeda, white supremacists. Now, Army,
well, if you remember too, the FBI wouldn't even call it a terrorist attack, and it's almost like they're trying to downplay anybody that submits to like the jihad or whatever, any of those holy wars. They are saying basically they're trying to downplay that Muslims have been committing these atrocities. Terrorist attack. Oh man. It's yeah. And that all changed, I think, under the Obama administration, where they were trying to act like that Muslims don't do those kinds of things, that they're good people. And there may be good people. You know, here in America, they are kind of a little bit more under control, but in other countries, they fully go by the Quran and do Sharia law and everything else. So, whatever. Yes, downplay that those people would be here to kill us. And this guy, who's the one in New Orleans, he had like the Quran in his house and all that stuff. They said open to a certain page about martyrdom. Anyway, this presidency cannot end fast enough.
Comments were made back in 2021. Obviously, white supremacy is a big issue, but does the West only have itself to blame for turning a blind eye to the threat of Islamic terror? Because this is not a new threat. The West is not next. It's happening to the West now, as it has been for some time.
Yeah, and by the way, Joe Biden made those comments as recently as 2023 when he was at Howard University, and he talked about white supremacy as the most significant threat facing our country. Look, I don't want to downplay the issue of white supremacy. It's a massive issue. It's not nothing. People have been murdered by white supremacists. In fact, look, I do show prep for you, right? I don't just walk in here and make comments willy-nilly. And I went through all the terrorist attacks in the U.S. of the last 5 years, and there have been almost 24 people have, or actually as much as 24, have been killed by white supremacists over the last 5 years. More people have been killed by Islamic terrorism, many that we don't even remember. There's a whole list of people. I was like, God, I didn't even know about that particular attack. But to gaslight us and say it is the most significant problem that we have had is ridiculous. It's crazy. And by the way, it's not just him. And it's the reason why we have a problem with our, people talk about the deep state, how insane it is that all these quote unquote MAGA supporters don't believe or trust the FBI. The FBI, Department of Justice, has repeatedly echoed those comments about white supremacy, not mentioning the Islamic threat, when more people have been killed by Islamic terrorists in the last 5 years than have been killed by white supremacists. Again, not to downplay white supremacy. It is an issue. But look, it is.
But it's not the only issue. There's plenty of stuff. With our open border, even Christopher Wray, whatever you think about the guy, he said that all the lights were flashing red, the director for the FBI. So there's plenty of stuff to be concerned about. And with the open border, as many people as come here that hates America and they refuse to assimilate and all that stuff, yeah, anything can happen. Sarah Adams recently said that there was like 1,500 I can't remember if they were Al-Qaeda or anyway, these people have been sent here from like wherever in the Middle East that hates America, and they're planning some type of attack. At least that's the intelligence network that she's hearing. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff going on. But for him to say it's just white supremacy, give me a break. That's just trying to cover up the fact that they open up the border and all these people, they don't even know who they are and what their business is here. Yeah. Anyway, Oh, this presidency cannot end fast enough.
Why are we doing this? Is because we want to have an idea of, hey, we don't want to look at Islamic people or Islam or as a problem in our country, and it's safe and okay to attack white people, white supremacy. This is what it's all about, right? It's racial politics. This attack with ISIS, this is nothing new. In 2024, it was a big year for ISIS. Okay, there have been 6 major attacks that were actually carried out or thwarted. The other thing, by the way, again, talking about how Islamic terrorism not being a massive issue. Again, I did the research. In 2024, over 1,000 people have been killed by Islamic terrorists globally. This is an issue we need to deal with. We haven't been dealing with it because it's not politically correct. And this is one of the reasons why Trump was elected. And one of the reasons why Joe Biden is no longer in office. People don't want to play these games anymore, not when lives are at stake. So yeah, I think it's gaslighting. I think it's gross. I think it's one of the reasons why we have President Trump. I think that's a great thing.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that there is some hope that Donald Trump will make changes come January 20. Look, let's move on to other matters. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's okayed sending in a delegation for talks to Qatar on a hostage ceasefire deal in Gaza. Army, this latest announcement came after reports that the negotiations between Israel and Hamas had reached an impasse. But is this latest news any sort of progress, do you think?
We've had fits and starts with this before, so it's really tough to tell until a deal gets done. I think the more important question is, why are we having it now? We haven't had talks in quite a while. I think the answer is obvious. It's the Trump effect. I want to rewind into the inauguration of Ronald Reagan. For over a year, there were American hostages in Iran, and the Carter administration was negotiating for months and months to get them out. We even sent troops in, where all of them got killed. Yet, minutes after Ronald Reagan was inaugurated, the hostages were released. I think that echoes what we see with Donald Trump now. I think, let's not forget that he's already had an effect on foreign policy. Qatar, when negotiations are happening, they kicked Hamas out as a base. Why? I think it's obvious why. They're afraid of what Trump will do if they're still a haven for Hamas. I think these negotiations are a direct effect to Hamas saying, look, Trump was clear. He said, if he is president and these hostages are still held by Hamas, there will be hell to pay. Now, with the Biden administration, it was the opposite. He was blaming Israel. He was stopping weapons from going to Israel. Now the tables have turned. Now with Trump in office, Hamas is scared. That's why the negotiations are happening now. So make no mistake about it. Trump effect is clear, it's wide-ranging, and it's certainly having an effect as we see it today with the negotiations in Qatar.
I agree. Army Horowitz, always good to speak with you. Thank you for joining me on the show this evening.
Pleasure is mine.
Again, this cannot end fast enough. Let's look at some of the comments too while I'm in here.
No regrets. It's become a cliche in America. Like it is.
Why did it do that? Okay. Let me go back. It went on to the next one. Come on. Okay.
In times of crisis, we need.
So, comments. Sometimes that's the best part. So that's.
In times of crisis, we need strong leadership. And until.
Okay, you mean. Hold on. Well, of course, it's giving me fits. Let's try this again.
In times of crisis, we.
All right, that will not stop. Oh, you mean the guy checking his watch at a veteran's funeral doesn't count to care about America over his own needs? I'm so shocked. That's sarcasm, of course. There's a time and place for jokes. This is neither. I got to go in here and like these as well. I've never, ever felt such utter disdain for anyone. Joe must go. These last few weeks feel like an eternity. Yes, they do. And that sickening grin on his face. Yeah. Let's see. FJB and FKH left Trump one hell of a mess to clean up. Yeah. And then his departure from the White House can't come soon enough. Exactly. And then he's clearly out of touch with what the American people expect and want for our country. These families have a hole in their hearts that will literally last forever. He referred to addressing the attack as this damned thing. Glad you don't find that troubling, Ami. And then whoever controlled the auto cue is the president. Biden was never running the show from day one. Oh, yeah, we know he's a puppet. Anyway, let's see. Thank you to this woman for telling Ami she disagrees with his statement. She's absolutely correct. Yes, I do love watching Sky News. I wonder where Rita is, but this lady's good too. She's got some good commentary on all this stuff. But anyway, this presidency cannot end fast enough. We need Trump back in office because we look like jokes on the world stage. Oops, excuse me. But yes, let me get this out of here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Donald Trump's getting in there and start changing some of this stuff, you guys. So anyway, I'm going to go relax now. I'm going to upload a couple of videos and chill out for the rest of the day. But I will talk to y'all later. And y'all have a good day. Bye.